that is from RITWIK. RITWIK, please switch on your microphone and switch on your camera.
Sir, very good evening to you. Sir, my question, sir, I am Ritvik Singh from BBA LLB 5th semester. Sir, my question to you is, like, how fintech has planned to reach its business to the rural population or the unorganized labor force. So I'm asking this question because they cover 80 crore of Indian population and they contribute more than 50,000 crore to the economy, sir. And sir, second thing, sir, it will lead India to the path of indigenization, which was the aim of our former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He said in 2001 that India needs to be indigenized by 29% by 2020. And even today, our Prime Minister is also striving towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. And in such case, such service is really it is a blessing for such or unorganized labor force who has suffered within this amid COVID pandemic also, sir. So how you have or how fintech has mapped it, sir? Thank you, sir.
Fantastic, Ritvik. Very, very deep question. I like it, and it's fantastic. I think people are thinking about this. There are several things that you said. I can go off on a tangent on many different levels, but there are two things that I wanted to pick on. One is your specific answer to your question. But before I get there, there's one interesting thing. You mentioned Atmanirbhar Bharat. You mentioned indigenization, right?
Indigenization, yes, sir.
The only word of caution that I have, Ritvik, is indigenization and Atmanirbhar should not mean import substitution.
Yes.
And these are different themes. History hasn't been too kind. Now, you could say that, as with any financial investments, I come from the financial services industry, so I should know this better. Past is no prediction for the future, but I can tell you the past has not been kind. Whenever we tried to raise tariffs and try to stop imports in a manner to grow our own, we were, the entire, maybe I would always say this, right? Maybe at the cost of our generation, we shouldn't penalize future generations for that. Yeah, so I have in my mind, there are several. It's encouraging to see how the think tank, the Indian government today is a lot more progressive, a lot more open, etc. But I just want you to be very clear what you're propagating. So please do not, these words are not interchangeable.
No, sir.
I'm not saying you are, but I'm just drawing.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so just, and caution only from my point of view.
Yes, of course.
My opinion, like I said, it's just my experience, right?
Yes, sir, of course.
Judge about what you want to do. Yeah, so that's the first thing. The second comment that I want is, specific to your question about fintech and and Bharat, so to speak. And I like what you're saying. I think one of the biggest benefits that this fintech boom has seen is how we have democratized finance, right?
Yes, sir.
And I can say that in 2-3 ways. The first way is just by creating digital footprint, how access to credit has become, at least, though numbers speak for itself, but on paper, it is possible now with some bit of GST history, etc. It should be possible for you to have a basis to lend than when we were operating in a world where we did not have digital footprints, digital record. So, in some sense, we have democratized credit.
Yes.
There are innumerable number of startups that we have, from the RISE Open Innovation Platform through Unreasonable, we have supported, where the entire theme is just about what you spoke and about what I was saying about democratization of credit. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the first piece around this. The second thing I think is also happening is the overall impact of COVID or the pandemic on the fintech scene. And we can try and see whether that will tell us anything about how it will impact the tier 2 and the tier 4 or Bharat in some sense. I think one of the things, and I'm echoing from a report that I read, I think one of the things is clearly the case that this pandemic has resulted in digitization of services, right? What was earlier a bit of a push, now I can certainly say there is a lot of pull. Even, we used to call this dynamic working, as in our company and any company, I would think, we had the option where colleagues would be able to operate from home. But there was not much taker. From the manager's side, he or she wasn't clear whether work from home means a leave, but not counted as leave, was the general, feeling.
Yes, sir.
And therefore, the manager was not also incentivized to push it. And similarly, from the staff side, because there will be meanings of, I'm shirking responsibility, etc., they were also not willing to take it up. But this thing, COVID, because it forced, I think there's lots of take up and there's a secular trend. Similarly, customers' behaviors were we had to force people to get to online to do simple things, but now it's like passe, right? So those fintechs who are based on digital services, etc., which is bulk of fintech itself, means you're using a mechanism of digital infrastructure, right? So I think those folks have seen traction. The second thing is because there is a flight to quality, typically in a crisis, that what happens, right? You go towards safer bets. People who were blindly focused on top line, on growth, on just at any discount, pick customers, etc., are slowly focused on profitability, because investors, because there is a funding crunch, they want to put money only on relatively safe ventures. They are looking for track record of profitability, not just growth. Yeah. So I think this has been one of my sob stories around fintech, which is everybody seems to be fascinated by valuation. Hey, how many rounds did you go through? A series, B series? It was as if it's it's fashionable to be, pulling money from the investor. I think now, sanity is prevailing. Hopefully, we will see profitable startups come out, talked about more than growth ventures. I think these are two trends. And the third one is from an investor standpoint of view, RITWIK, just to close it out. I think because the valuations have corrected, I think strategic investors' interest is going to pick up. Not just financial investors who are looking for a return, but somebody who sees synergy in what they're doing vis-a-vis what a fintech is offering. There is a symbiotic relationship that has now been facilitated because of lower valuation. So I'm hoping that all of these three are positive trends, and I think the story around fintech is only gaining currency. And whether it is urban centers or rural centers, by just this spreading and becoming a phenomena, everybody will gain. I think that's my sense, RITWIK.
Thank you so much, sir. And sir, one more thing, the way you have answered in the last question, the concept of value creation, that mostly cleared my mind the question which I had, just for formality and the thing I had just asked this. Thank you so much, sir. I had a great opportunity in interacting with you. Thank you so much, sir.